Woke up looking for the broccoli, JV, stack a little more, BTC. In today's show, I'll be sharing the latest technical analysis as Bitcoin is pumping on the verge of recapturing $98,000. We'll also be discussing Trump vows Fort Knox gold audit. The prediction markets have reacted with predictions of a 70% chance of this happening. We'll also be discussing Montana becomes the fourth U.S. state to advance their Bitcoin reserve bill to the House, as well as Barstool founder Mr. Cabbage Hands Portnoy launches and dumps his greed meme coin in just 1 hour. We'll also be discussing 86% of the Libra traders have realized a loss of more than $1,000 according to this latest report, as well as Satoshi Nakamoto's early partner Hal Finney predicted Bitcoin at 10 million all the way back then. We'll also be discussing Bitcoin at 500 G's per coin, according to Standard Chartered, doubling down on their 2028 target. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more, right here, fam, in today's show. If you're new to the channel, very important to smash the likes. Then go ahead and subscribe. Number 1 day of the Bitcoin pod. Hit the bell icon, turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto newsletters every single day, 7 days a week, just like this. Today is pod 1911, my favorite number. I'm your host, JV. It's February 20th, 2025. Pretty low biddy going up. Right on the cusp of reclaiming 98,000, up another 1,500 on the day. The entire market pumping in the green. As you can see here on Coin 360. Only BNB and Solana and Litecoin top coins in the red on the day. And check it out, coinmarketcap.com. We're currently sitting at 3.21 trillion market cap, biddy market cap 1.938 trillion. We have roughly 87 billion worth of volume over the past 24 hours. Bitcoin dominance has been back on the climb, currently at 60.3%. Ether dominance has been pretty stagnant at 10.2%. Checking out top 100 crypto gainers past 24 hours. We got Bera up 23%, followed by Story up 22%, followed by Pith up 15%. Which alts broskies are you bullish on for the bull, if any? Holla. And checking out the crypto bubbles, we get a visual perspective on the daily. Safe to say maybe 70-30 green over red. Monthly, unfortunately, 90% of the market, Rex City, Trump down 57%, even some of the top coins down 30, 40, 50%. Checking out the crypto greed and fear index, we're almost dead middle. In the middle, a little day, we know that we riddles a middleman who didn't do diddly at a 49. Yesterday at 44, last week at 50, and last month at 76. In extreme greed. And checking out the time chain calendar, we have 165,419 blocks until the next halving. We're currently on block number 884,581, and you currently exchange one fiat monopoly dollar for 1,029 sats. So pick up the sats, put down the gats, pick up some Bitcoin caps from my man Sergio over at bitcoincaps.net. And if you don't know, now you know. Crypto broskies. As you can see on your screen, and thank you for the clarification. Boet says, yes, 450 Bitcoin mined daily. Demand is easily over 20x the daily supply. Just goes to show you. But here you're looking at the 1 minute chart on your screen. It doesn't say much because we're so zoomed in on a 1 minute. So let's actually zoom it out to the 1 hour and work our way back. 1 hour chart. Very bullish. We do have the Super Bowl target sitting at 104,500, which is what, maybe another 7,000-ish climb from the current price action. And we do have a bear target sitting just at 81,000. The only real influencer calling that I'm aware of is Arthur Hayes. He thinks we're going to have a massive correction before we continue to rip forward. But I'm more optimistic. I think we're likely to continue ripping forward, re-enter price discovery, which is currently 109.3. And I feel once we break that, the next logical leg up will be somewhere between 120 and 130,000, which takes us to our next target on this 4 hour chart you can see on your screen. We have the orange, Bitcoin orange, that is, 130 G's in play. Let me know when you feel we'll likely hit that. I am still optimistic we can hit it in the first quarter of this year, which means before the end of March. So we're in the thick of it right now, halfway through. Q1 of 2025. We also have a red target sitting at 104.5 on the 4-hour chart, and then a couple of bear scenarios as well. Zooming out from the 4-hour, take a quick look at the daily, and the daily chart says it's going up forever, Nipsey. As you can see, past couple of days we've been pumping. Prior to that, we had 3-4 consecutive red days, but we're back in the green. Happy days, fam. And zooming out from the daily, take a quick look at the weekly. The weekly chart shows us we still have the 124,000 cup and handle target in play. Overall, very bullish trajectory. Since the news of Trump becoming president, we started ripping like crazy. Then we've been trading sideways, and we peaked at the inauguration day of Jan 20th a few weeks ago. And zooming out from there, we'll take a quick look at the monthly. Today is February 20th, so we only got 8 days left to finish out the month. Will it flip green? Because we're currently in red territory for the monthly close. Unless things change, you guys let me know your thoughts. And I also want to hit you with some of the break-in headlines as well. So let me pull this up on my screen. So Strategy announced pricing of its $2 billion in notes to buy more Bitcoin. As you know, the converting of the convertible notes ordeal, we call him the Bitcoin alchemist, as it said on the cover of Forbes, because precisely what he does, he manifests Bitcoin out of thin air, like his name is Satoshi, this guy. But that's Mikey Saylor for you. $2 billion buy incoming. Also, President Trump spoke yesterday and said he signed executive orders to end Joe Biden's war on Bitcoin and crypto. Quoting him here, "We ended that war totally. That war is over, Jehovah." And there you go. Also, GameStop CEO just followed Bitcoin Magazine. Why is this a big deal? He only follows 2 accounts. Literally. So is this a sign he is about to convert $4 billion into Bitcoin? I mean, look at him. Ryan Cohen follows 2 people. One of them's Bitcoin Magazine. If I was to speculate, the other one's probably a guy named Mikey Saylor. But what do I know? He recently met up with him. So, I mean, what do you think Michael Saylor's talking to people about? Buy the Bitcoin, buy the Bitcoin, buy the Bitcoin. And if you don't know, now you know. But yeah, let's continue with some of the headlines, some of the breaking news. Here's what's happening out of Fort Knox. Trump vows Fort Knox gold audit. Prediction markets on Polymarket have reacted. Check this. The odds of the Fort Knox Gold Reserve audit taking place by May of this year surged onto prediction markets after President Trump confirmed his administration's intention to conduct the audit. Music to my ears. Hold these mofos accountable, Trump. Trump spoke out on the Fort Knox audit during a flight to Washington on February 19th, stating that his admin is planning to visit the vault to check the gold reserves. Do a live stream, Trump, please. Because even if you went there and you looked with your own eyes, you're like, oh, everything looks great. We want a professional audit done. I want to see a live stream. I want to see proof of reserves. I want the proof of the reserves on the blockchain. Yeah, I mean, otherwise, I'm going to be skeptical. That's just me. But anyways, gold supply Fort Knox, I don't believe has been audited in literally 60 years. Oh, snap. Elon wrote a live stream of Fort Knox would be fire. Read my mind. Crazy. And I didn't look at this story. I mean, I looked at the headline, but I didn't read the story before I went live. But we're on the same wavelength here. We're going to go into Fort Knox and make sure the gold is there, Trump declared, confirming the initiative that was originally spearheaded by the Libertarian Financial Bloc. I'll volunteer, Mr. Trump, Mr. Elon, if you want a live streamer the community trusts to do some form of audit or live stream, I will go there with the Nippinator and we will inspector gadget that mofo, if you know what I'm saying. But anyways, Trump's latest Fort Knox remarks fueled betting activity on the crypto-based prediction market Polymarket, the largest one there is, listing several related markets on February 17th. And if the gold isn't there, we're going to be very upset. I'd say, who do we hold accountable at that part? Who do you think is responsible or should be held accountable? Let me know. And addressing the question on the implications of the missing gold reserves, should the audit discover some, Trump expressed hope that everything is fine with Fort Knox. While not directly mentioning concerns behind the audit, Trump stated, if the gold isn't there, we'd be very upset. I mean, that's an understatement. And quoting Cynthia Lummis, Bitcoin fixes this. The Bitcoin reserve could be audited anytime 24/7 with a basic computer, and it is every 10 minutes. It's time to upgrade our reserves. Amen to that. Trump's remarks on Fort Knox audit appear to be the first public statement on the vault's gold reserve since he was sworn in as the 47th president, Jan 20th, the day we hit the all-time high. The audit would mark the first review of Fort Knox gold reserve since 1974. I mean, you guys do the math. How many years is that? 30, 40, 50, 50 plus years, ballpark. The question of the Fort Knox audit has been widely supported by the community, and I think you'd all agree and love to see that live stream with JV and the Nippinator, with many suggesting that this whole process of the gold audits is a bullish event for Bitcoin. Precisely is, which can be audited freely 24/7 and cannot be faked, unlike gold, which is often faked. You know what I mean? It's faked all the freaking time. Following Trump's confirmation, the odds of a Fort Knox audit occurring before May of 2025 surged to 70%. That means there is a strong probability that that happens. And at this time, Polymarket bettors have assigned a 64% probability to the audit happening, up from 55% the previous day. That's because he just spoke about it and confirmed he was going to do it. Another Polymarket speculating whether the audit will reveal missing gold reserves has also seen increased activity, currently showing a 17% chance of missing assets. Man, I'd bet the house on the fact that there's some missing assets there if they did perform a actual real audit in which we would all trust. Meanwhile, prediction market platform Kalshi is reportedly preparing to launch its own Fort Knox-related betting market. Kalshi's head of growth indicated these markets may go live as soon as February 20th, which would mean today. So if that is live, do guys let me know. Let's actually discuss this Montana bill, more adoption here in the United States. Of course, after the infamous freeze frame, Montana becomes the 4th U.S. state to advance the Bitcoin Reserve Bill to the House. That's right. The Montana House Business and Labor Committee passed a bill that would open a door for the BTC and other cryptos to become reserve assets. Montana's Business and Labor Committee passed House Bill number 429 in a 12-8 vote February 19th, which was yesterday, with all the Republicans voting in favor and all Democrats opposed. Not surprised there. The 4th crypto reserve bill to reach the House at the state level of the U.S. The measure would create a special revenue account to invest in precious metals, stablecoins, and digital assets with an average market cap of $750 billion over the last calendar year. So out of the digital assets, Bitcoin is the only one qualified that currently meets the requirement. The bill would now head to Montana's House, a stage in the legislative process that only Utah, Arizona, Oklahoma have reached when it comes to the BTC reserve-related bills. And you can see the Satoshi Action Fund shared the breaking news here. Strategic Bitcoin reserve legislation in Montana passes out of committee and moves out onto the House floor vote. Thank you to the leadership of Rep. Schumer, who sponsored the bill. Respect. The bill was amended to exclude the requirement that funds must be held by a qualified custodian or through an ETF. So if passed, the bill would become effective July 1st, allowing the state treasurer to move up to $50 million to a special account used to invest in precious metals, digital assets, and stablecoins by July 15th. So thus far, Illinois, Kentucky, Maryland, New Hampshire, New Mexico, North Dakota, Ohio, Pennsylvania, South Dakota, Texas are among the other U.S. states that have also recently introduced bills for the Bitcoin reserve. And I hear there's now over 30 in total proposing for a strategic reserve bill, or putting Bitcoin in the treasury, or for the pension fund or the sovereign wealth fund, or some level of BTC adoption. So let's go Montana. Also, Utah made the most regulatory progress, being the only state to have a Bitcoin reserve bill actually pass through the House as of recent. Satoshi Action Fund CEO Dennis Porter recently tipped Utah to be the first U.S. state to adopt the Bitcoin reserve. Let's go Mormon world, citing the state's shorter legislative window calendar and political momentum. And meanwhile, we have U.S. Senator Lummis still trying to pass the Bitcoin reserve bill at the federal level. Her proposal is to purchase, I believe it's 5% of the Bitcoin supply, which is roughly 1 million BTC. And I watched a interview with Michael Saylor, which is probably maybe a month or two old, that he did with Natalie Brunell from Coin Stories. And he was actually discussing that. He's hoping Trump is more advantageous on the level of Bitcoin adoption for the strategic Bitcoin reserve. He says minimal 5%, which is 1 million Bitcoin, which is what Lummis's bill proposes, but it's up to Trump and them to decide how much. He thinks we can go as high as wow, let me remember what these numbers he shared, but 5x that. So instead of 1 million, purchasing 5 million Bitcoin, which is 20% of the supply. I even think he even said 25% of the supply. So 5% would be the low end if the U.S. purchased 1 million, made that proposal. And it would probably be over the course of several years. It wouldn't be instantly. It would be very hard and difficult to acquire that much Bitcoin in a single swoop, if you understand what I'm saying. Very limited supply of the BTC. So my understanding is Cynthia Lummis's bill proposes purchasing 200,000 Bitcoin a year for the United States as a strategic reserve asset, but those numbers can be upped significantly. So you guys let me know your thoughts on that. Bankers are wankers. Couldn't agree more with that. Next story of the day. I mean, you can't make this ish up. Barstool founder Dave Portnoy, Mr. Cabbage Hands, launches and dumps a meme coin called Greed in just 1 hour. That's right. And I heard he's already launched 2. I don't know how accurate that is, but let's get into the story. Barstool Sports founder Portnoy launches a meme coin called Greed from his official wallet. It says today, but I believe this article was written yesterday, so this would mean yesterday. However, he sold his entire position an hour later, causing the token's value to crash by more than 90%. I guess he wasn't happy with the whole Libra launch. He put in $5 million of his own money, but guess what? He got refunded by the dev that was in control of $100 million of the assets. So when influencers get paid to push these tokens, there's nothing they can lose, and they can only win because if they lose, they get credited back from whoever is behind it all. Goes to show you, retail, you're not getting refunded. So it's a sucker's game. I hope you guys noticed that. So yeah, he literally sold 90% of the token. Not a good look. So February 19th, the post, this is what it said: the entire ecosystem is greed and nothing else. Go dump on each other, peasants, but don't complain to me if you lose money. You're all greedy, at least admit it. Interesting. He then launched Greed, presenting it as a social experiment. Tell it to the judge. And a reflection of the true nature of the sector. I guess he's pretty accurate there. According to the blockchain analytics firm Look On Chain, Portnoy issued a token and purchased 357 million units, representing roughly 36% of the total supply. The market cap quickly surged to 30 million, despite initially claiming he would not sell anytime soon. What a liar. The 47-year-old offloaded his entire position within an hour. What I tell you, trust nothing these clowns say and watch what they do, because they have no problem looking you in the eye and lying to you. These guys are professional liars. I like to believe Dave has like better morals and ethics, but obviously that's not true according to what he just did. So the Greed's value plummeted 99% to below 3 million, and looks like everyone got wrecked. Look On Chain reported he profited approximately 258,000 from the meme coin. I don't understand. The guy's worth over 100 million. Is it necessary to rug your audience who loves you for 250 grand, brother? It just, to me, I don't get it. But shortly after, Portnoy launched another token. Go figure, Greed 2. And it currently holds 268 million of them, making up 26% of the supply. And in the final twist, the media mogul returned to X, stating that they had only promised not to sell one coin, referring to the Solana meme token Stool Presidente, jail stool. That's an interesting name. He emphasized that he was free to sell anything else he had warned people not to buy. So I guess he just tells people don't buy it, and then he feels good about it because he told you not to buy it. But people are still going to buy it because they don't care what he says. They just follow what he does. Does that make any sense? Portnoy first revealed his purchase of 57 million Jailstool tokens February 9th. Shortly after, he sold the entire stack. I guess the stack he said he wasn't going to sell, exchanging it for roughly 586 SOL. However, he quickly bought back even more, spending over 1,000 SOL to acquire just over 23 million coins. Following the initial spike in the dip, Jailstool's market cap surged past 100 million as the entrepreneur fueled its viral appeal. The coin's value more than doubled, reaching an all-time high of nearly 218 million. Currently, the meme crypto is trading around, looks like 1.5 cents, a 19% drop in the last 24 hours. It has suffered a more marked loss over the past 7 days, shaving a massive 77% off its value. And as you know, we've been covering the Libra token scam and all these other bullshit projects that are really just designed to make the insiders rich and to rug the community and make crypto look bad. So not a good look. But let's continue with the news, as 98 is clearly incoming. Next story of the day, now that we discussed the Greed Portnoy rug pull ×2, now let's discuss the Libra rug. And interestingly enough, first thing in the morning, I watched the brand new CoffeeZilla interview covering this story. And not a good look for everyone involved. I think a lot of people are screwed in the sense that, it was a criminal launch, really. Bad intentions from the very beginning, sniping going on, insider trading, everything you could imagine went wrong, actually went wrong, as in all these meme coin launches. And the same people behind the Melania coin launch were the same people behind the Libra launch. So, I mean, come on now. But headline here reads, 86% of the Libra traders have realized a loss of more than $1,000. On-chain data shows the hardest hit investors of the Libra meme coin pump and dump scheme lost a combined $251 million. Blockchain research firm Nansen found that 15,400 wallets that sold at a profit or lost more than $1,000, over 86% of those sold at a loss. So the majority are losers, combining for $250 million in losses. On the flip side, the other 2,100 profitable wallets were able to take home just about 180 million in unrealized gains, or I should say, according to this, realized gains, according to the report examining the biggest winners and losers from the Libra token, which was briefly shared by Argentine President Javier Milei. Quoting the report here, insiders took profits, retail got burned, and key backers distanced themselves. A handful of wallets walked away with millions, while most traders were left with deep losses. And I know this was confirmed in the CoffeeZilla interview. Portnoy, he purchased $5 million worth of the Libra token, in which he lost, and then they returned his money because he's an influencer and they wanted to pay him and give him tokens for promoting it. And that's how this shit works, fam. And around 1,478 wallet hodlers saw a realized loss of between 1,000 and 10,000, amounting to 4.8 million combined to realized losses. The 2,800 crypto wallets lost between 10,000 and 100,000. Pretty significant, amounting to 82 million, and another 392 wallets lost between 100,000 and $1 million. Now, in my humble opinion, you got to be half retarded to be investing like 100,000 to $1 million into a meme coin, especially one like this. I mean, they're all bad in my opinion, but you get my grift. With losses approximately totaling 96.5 million, another 23 wallets that lost more than $1 million combined for 40 million, almost 50 million in losses. Nansen said the worst 15 addresses losses total 33 million, with one of those wallets still holding 57% of the balance. Nansen also said the steepest realized loss came from Barstool founder Portnoy's wallet at 6.3 million. Portnoy was one of the project's insiders, but returned 6 million Libra tokens to Davis. Tokens that Portnoy received as payment for promoting the meme coin. So how this stuff works, they pay the influencers with tokens for free, which they print out of thin air. The influencer pushes it to their millions of people in the audience, and then all these people get wrecked not knowing any better. And it's never a good look. You're supposed to disclose that. It's called insider trading. So Portnoy, though, allegedly did not take the bribe. He returned the tokens that were delivered to him, and he said, I'm going to buy it with my own money, in which he did, loses 5 million, and then the dev sends him his 5 million back, so he loses absolutely nothing. Now, Berwick Law, the law firm currently suing Pump.fun, and the hawk to a meme coin creator, said it already in contact with hundreds of clients who lost money from the Libra and would explore legal options as more facts come to light. They said our priority is advocating for those affected and helping them explore potential avenues for financial recovery. The main parties behind Libra's token launch were Kelsler Ventures and CEO Hayden Davis. That guy actually he's the dev behind it all, the dev for Malay. He did the interview with CoffeeZilla. And the KIP Protocol CEO Julian Pueh, if I'm saying that right, while Malay's post was deleted 5 hours later. Not a good look, Javier. Appears to be the main catalyst behind the meme coins. Right, of course. So you have people like Javier Milei, who's the president of a country of 46 million people. You have Dave Portnoy, who has millions of followers. These are the people responsible for all these people getting wrecked. If they didn't tweet about it and openly promote it, do you think so many people would have bought it and would have rose in a $4.5 billion market cap within an hour? Absolutely not. So who do we point the finger at here, family? Local media outlet. One thing I'll say for sure, you never see me pumping this bullshit. Media outlet La Nacion claims to have seen text messages suggesting Malay's sister, Karina Malay, who serves as the Secretary General for Argentina's presidential office, may have also been involved. Good Lord. Hayden Davis, the supposed sender, has denied sending the messages. Well, of course. And meanwhile, Davis and Kelsler Ventures, some of the biggest winners from the Libra token launch, claiming to have netted around 100 million. trillion, in which they have access to right now. Davis, however, said he didn't directly own the tokens and wouldn't be selling them, but they do have control over them. Meanwhile, Malay had also distanced himself from the meme coin, arguing he didn't promote the Libra token, as fraud lawsuits filed against him have claimed, and instead merely spread the word about it. So can someone explain the difference between spreading the word and making a post about it and what's the other word? Promoting it? Is there a difference? I'm curious. Let me know. Meanwhile, Argentina's opposition party is calling for Malay's impeachment. You just gave them ammunition by doing something retarded. So I don't feel bad for Malay. I don't feel bad for any of the parties involved. You guys got to know better. I like to believe no one in my audience was stupid enough to buy that token. And if you did, you probably knew the consequences, that there was over a 90% chance you would lose it all. And so that's why I don't feel sorry for any of these folks. You guys got to do better, know better. And I'm not speaking to all of you guys, but specifically those of you looking to get rich quick in crypto. If it sounds too good to be true, it typically is. And so just be careful with the shitcoinery, guys. Now for our feature story of the day, Satoshi Nakamoto's early partner, Hal Finney, rest in peace, predicted Bitcoin at $10 million per coin, very long time ago. And we'll also be sharing bonus story, Bitcoin of 500,000, according to Standard Chartered Bank, doubling down on their 2028 target. And if you don't know, Standard Chartered, big bank over in Europe, and the primary shareholder is BlackRock. So more bullishness coming from the BlackRock. But first, let's dive into Hal Finney's infamous $10 million price projection. You should be able to see this pulled up on the screen. Bitcoin's meteoric rise over the past 15 years has turned many skeptics into believers. You can say that again. But could it ever reach the heights predicted by early pioneer Hal Finney, who speculated that Bitcoin could one day be worth over $10 million per coin? I feel it's like a given. It's inevitable. The $1 million question is when, what year, right? So back in 2009, Finney, one of Bitcoin's earliest adopters, ran a theoretical calculation to estimate Bitcoin's long-term value. He assumed that if Bitcoin were to become the dominant global currency or a key store of value, its token market cap would need to match the world's total wealth. At that time, roughly 16 years ago, he estimated the global wealth to be in the range of $100 to $300 trillion total addressable market. While Bitcoin's supply cap at 21 million, dividing these figures results in a potential price of 4.7 million to 14.2 million per bitty. Factoring in future economic growth and inflation, some estimates push this number above 22 million per BTC. Now, Hal Finney was one of the first people to believe in Bitcoin. Back on January 12th of 2009, he received the first ever Bitcoin transaction, 10 BTC. Now valued at roughly $1 million. And from Bitcoin's anonymous creator, Satoshi. This made him one of the earliest adopters of Bitcoin. Finney worked closely with Nakamoto, helping to improve Bitcoin's code and testing the early versions. Some people even thought he might be Satoshi himself, but of course, he always denied it, as Satoshi would. And for Bitcoin to reach such astronomical figures, it would need to displace gold, fiat currencies, and other assets of the world's ultimate store of value, in which we all know is the hardest money. It's unequitable, it's impregnable, hence it's pretty little bitty going up. Institutional adoption, sovereign wealth fund allocations, and global economic shifts would have to drive its market cap into the hundreds of trillions. However, Bitcoin's relatively small market cap of 1.9 trillion in 2024 suggests it has a long way to go. Meanwhile, podcaster Patrick Bet-David challenged Mikey Saylor on MicroStrategy's long-term value, suggesting the company could grow into a $10 trillion giant if Bitcoin reaches 13 million per coin, which is Saylor's bear scenario. And in November of 19th on the pod, Bet-David calculated that if Bitcoin adoption jumps from 0.1% to 7% and Bitcoin surges from 90,000 to $13 million, MicroStrategy, now known as Strategy B's valuation, could increase 144x. Quoting him here, if I do 144 times 73 billion, you're estimating it to be 10.5 trillion company in 21 years. Is that correct? He asked Saylor, and Saylor agreed, saying, with that math, yeah, Bitcoin goes from 90,000 to 13 million per bitty. And at that time, MicroStrategy, which is now Strategy, had a market cap of 85 billion, while Bitcoin was priced at 97.5. So if Bitcoin reaches 13 million, MicroStrategy's market cap would scale approximately exceeding 11 trillion based on the current valuation ratio. I like to also point out, in the past 16 years, the total addressable market also climbed significantly. So we're no longer calculating 100 to 300 trillion, but estimates are now like 700 to 900 trillion, which ultimately means Bitcoin could more than double off the speculation of the 10 million to 20 million, just FYI. And the other story here is a bonus. Standard Chartered doubling down on their bullish price trajectory. Let's break it down. According to the new report from Standard Chartered, they cited by Block, their analyst Kendrick, not Lamar, sees growing signs that government-backed instrument vehicles are ramping up their investments into Bitcoin and their interests. The view reinforced by Abu Dhabi's recent disclosure of the 4,700 Bitcoin, which is approximately $500 million, equivalent position of the BlackRock Bitcoin Trust IBIT. They announced they're holding it in their sovereign wealth fund, quoting Kendrick here. While this is small for now, we would expect the size to increase over time, and indeed for other sovereigns to start also buying. He also wrote in the Tuesday report explaining Abu Dhabi's move marks a strategic shift and could presage broader participation from the other wealth funds around the world, which there's a lot of wealth in. Kendrick's confidence is partly rooted in the Form 13F filings, quarterly reports that institutional managers overseeing at least 100 million in assets are required to file with the US SEC, reviewing data from the fourth quarter of 2024. Quoting him here, the 13F filings for Q4 show that process is underway. It's happening, he said in an email to the Block. In Standard Chartered's analysis, Q4 data revealed that while hedge funds maintain their lead in the Bitcoin purchases, banks, which began buying in Q3 of last year, also ramped up their positions, also drawing parallels between the earlier stage and the Bitcoin market evolution, dominated by the retail investors, and the more recent era, which saw the hedge funds and the institutional FOMO like a mofo jump abroad on the ETFs. And now the spotlight appears to be broadening further to include state investment managers as well as the central banks, quoting the report. This gives us comfort to say that even if buying by strategy, formerly known as MicroStrategy, slows down dramatically, it has bought a staggering 227,000 Bitcoin since the US election. Damn. More than 1% of the ever-to-exist supply. And I believe Michael Saylor's goal is to get to 5% of the circulating supply, which would be approximately 1 million Bitcoin, which is what Cynthia Lummis proposed for the US. So how many companies like MicroStrategy, now known as Strategy, or governments like the US will be able to say we have 5% of the circulating supply? Not many, as there's a finite limited supply. We think other buyers are waiting to step in. Facts, I'm sure it's happening. The mention of MicroStrategy underscores just how significant one private company's Bitcoin holdings can be. Yet, Standard Chartered's analysis suggests that other large patient pools of capital might absorb the future supply, thus supporting the higher prices over the long term. And amongst the institutions, Kendrick highlights the state of Wisconsin Investment Board and the state of Michigan Department of the Treasury. However, he also points to central banks as potential new participants. In the report, they referenced the Czech National Bank, which considered allocating up to 5% of its 150 billion in euros in reserves into the Bitcoin, and notes that the Swiss National Bank is in the early stages of contemplating a similar move. We call this game theory, global hash wars. These developments could further bolster Bitcoin's legitimacy as a store of value on par with more traditional asset classes. And as the institutional access to the Bitcoin improves, volatility declines, we expect more portfolios to migrate towards their optimal level from the underweight Bitcoin starting point. So what are your thoughts? Again, they personally believe 500,000 will happen by the year 2028. So let me know if you agree or disagree with the analysts over at Standard Chartered. And with that being shared, what I'm going to do next, and again, welcome everyone join the stream, close to 1,200 people here. I'm going to play a short 1-minute video that was captured from Chandy's phone at the 100K Bitcoin Fiesta, Puerto Rico, just in case you guys missed it. And then we'll flip this mofo into a pump watch.